Hey, good morning, everyone. Looks like there are 8 people in the room. It's good to see you all in here just a little bit early so that anybody who comes in doesn't think that we're not doing the live stream today. So if you would, please feel free to just say hello in the chat so we kind of know who's here this morning. And if you have any questions or just any little sort of chit chat you want to do right now while we're waiting, we will start at 9 o'clock sharp. But until then, just kind of waiting for just a little bit. I'm going to sort of move around here a bit, trying to find a little bit better light. It's probably about as good as it is going to get today. All right. So again, really would encourage any of you, please do feel free to sign in, to log in, say hello in the chat. So looks like we had a absolutely gorgeous weekend with a lot of nice sun, a little overcast here today, but certainly nice to see the sun as we're getting in here. Again, we're going to do another one of these sessions. I am going to do another one of these sessions on Thursday afternoon at 3:30. Good morning. Good to see you. Going to do another one of these sessions at 3:30 on Thursday. I'm sure we'll get more information from the state, and there'll just be more to share with you at that time. So I'm going to try to get a pattern here. We'll probably start in on Monday mornings and then Thursdays or Fridays as we move on here for the rest of the month. But again, looks like we've got 11 people in the room. If you're willing to say hello, that would be great. If I'm looking around here, I'm going to be kind of taking a glance at some notes that I've got on my phone. So I need to get back to them here. Everyone, good morning. See, we got a few more people in the room, 13 people. So again, there is a chat function here. You can see over, I think it looks the same on your screen as it does on mine. There's a little bar over on the right-hand side. So you can type in any questions, just say good morning, whatever works, but it kind of helps me get a sense of who's in the room. I think just like our students and probably a lot of our parents have been living with virtual meetings, online meetings with Zoom and Google Meet and WebEx. You get some feedback there. The live stream thing is still a little bit new for me, just because you don't get that feedback other than in the bar. And good morning to all of you. Thank you for saying good morning and checking in there. So it is 9 o'clock, and we are going to go ahead and start. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Pressler, and I'm the principal at Maine East. Sure, I'm missing all of our students, all of your students, and all of our staff members as well. I hope that everybody is healthy and taking good care of yourselves, social distancing. Just saw something on social media. It looks like the Midwest states where we're crushing it when it comes to social distancing based on the GPS data that they're tracking. So we want to keep that up. Fortunately, probably for a few more weeks, just to try to flatten the curve and get beyond this. Good morning, everybody who's come in. Thanks for logging in. Good to see you. I've got some notes that I want to go through that are just informational. Some of it is a little bit redundant from information that you've gotten from the district, but again, don't know. I'd rather repeat it than have people get good, consistent information. So, as I said, really missing everybody, and we don't know yet when we're going to get to be together again in school at 2601 West Dempster, but certainly don't want to get there before it's safe for everybody to be able to do that. So I want to say the first week of e-learning last week seemed to be pretty positive by all accounts. I think students who were able to get in, it was really great. I know the staff really appreciated getting a chance to reconnect with their students, and we kind of got our legs under us in terms of some e-learning and setting up the classrooms, things like that. I think there'll be a little bit more information that teachers, staff members will have for students in terms of just kind of the what we call the protocols or the classroom rules in terms of just treating each other respectfully and being responsible with the technology. You got something pushed out from district from 3 principals, again, just encouraging all of our students to remember that, basic rules. If you wouldn't say it to somebody's face, don't say it online. Try to be on time, be mindful of trying to mute all of the time in terms of microphones, so there's some background noise. It's not disruptive for the class. And again, think about your surroundings all the time, dressing appropriately, those kinds of things. So again, I know we're looking to another good week. Had a lot of really good positive stories, some really innovative, creative ways that teachers are working to engage students, check in on them, and continue to see that we learn over these next few weeks. As you saw, probably in last week's announcements, we made the decision as a district to cancel all remaining fine arts events for the year. That was not an easy decision to make in terms of knowing how disappointed so many of our student performers and our staff members are after a really successful year, but absolutely the right decision to make in terms of keeping people healthy, in terms of the distancing guidelines, which are still in effect right now. And even if we get back in early May, just really wouldn't be adequate time to prepare performances, things like that. Not to mention just all of the demands when we finally get to return to some sort of a normal routine. We're still talking about senior events. We've had many informal discussions as a cabinet. That cabinet are the administrators from the district office and the building principals. We know that they're so important to our seniors and our families. We know there's a great level of disappointment in terms of just feeling like senior year is the rug that has been pulled out from under people, and can really appreciate a sense of frustration and loss. While we don't have firm decisions yet, we're going to make sure that whatever we do is in the best interest of all in terms of safety. But having said that, we're going to do everything we can to hold graduation. Maybe it won't be in the middle of May, but we'll certainly be communicating any of those firm plans. So for right now, things are on hold, but believe me, we're going to do everything we can to honor those traditions, those rites of passage, in terms of our students and our families. We know it's important. It's important to all of us, to staff members as well. So, we will be in touch. So some questions about attendance and grading. I'm going to talk about attendance first. So basically, we've asked all of our staff members to take attendance every Friday, and that's going to be based on students being engaged in whatever they are presenting for classwork. So that could be, a Zoom or a Google Meets session that is going to be based in video. Could be through Gmail chat. It could be on a phone call. It could be based on just email back and forth on an assignment and questions about it. So it really is based on student engagement. And, the reason for that, some people have asked about, well, why aren't we just doing, live every every block day, why aren't we meeting live? There are a lot of reasons for that. It's not really possible for many of our students based on maybe multiple students at various grade levels that are all depending on the Wi-Fi at the same time. Many of our students are working. Some have picked up double shifts in essential services to help support their families. So again, we really need for our instruction to be asynchronous. In other words, not demanding everybody meeting at the same time all the time. Still is a place for that, and some of our classes are functioning very effectively, and certainly students can get help in that manner. But so again, we take attendance based on we've heard from you, we know you're okay. We have a good sense of what's going on with you and your family situation. So our goal is to ensure the well-being of every one of our students and to stay connected with them. I want to talk a little bit about grading. I'm kind of glancing back and forth at notes here. So there was an email that was sent home last week about grading. There's also really good, very understandable, clear information on our school website about grading. So baseline grades are scheduled to be sent today. So that baseline grading is going to include work that was assigned before March 16th and then graded up to now as we've had time to sort of catch up with all of this. So again, that work before the 16th that teachers were waiting if they deemed it was okay. In some instances, it may have been missing work, and the teachers said, yep, let's get it in, turn it in. So again, they're giving credit for all of that. Some cases, teachers might have often a retake or a redo, but it really depends on how the individual class works. And again, the goal here is to do no harm, to not damage a student's grade based on what they may not be able to do with remote or e-learning, and to really benefit, but to continue to have kids be involved and engaged in that schoolwork with their teachers, with their classmates in a way that's appropriate and that's supportive. Many of the teachers, there have been some questions about timelines, deadlines. And again, I think teachers have been pretty clear about what that is, and I believe they're really trying to be very flexible in working with students on that to get work in. So I think the important thing that I want all of our parents and all of our students to hear is that every student can take that baseline grade and work really, really hard to improve it. And we really hope that everybody takes advantage of that. So far, the reports again from teachers and checking in and students who have maybe been trying to raise some of those grades that weren't so high has been really good. And we want to continue to do that. As I mentioned before, the major guiding principle throughout the state of Illinois and frankly, other states that are also shelter in place is that during this time, no harm to a student's grade can move you down from the baseline grade. The thing that I really can't stress enough, and I'll say it time and time again, is continue to be engaged. Please, students, continue to be engaged. Parents, really support your students to continue to be engaged with the lessons, with their teachers, to continue to learn. Because on the other side of this, once you graduate, many of you are going to be going to college, or you're going to be going to trade school, military, wherever that is. And, learning is not so much about the grade as much as it is about the amount of knowledge that you can build and the skill you can build. So regardless of what that grade may be, don't just lay down and not continue, but continue to work, continue to grow. And if you can benefit your grade, I think it would be fabulous to see everybody with a super high GPA at the end of this semester, if you can continue to build those. Question about final exams. There will be no final exams this year. Okay. That is something we have decided. It's very clear, very black and white. There will be no final exams this year, even if we return to school. A teacher might design some sort of a cumulative summative So, I mean, I can't really speak in absolutes. So there could be a project that builds that would benefit your grade and benefit your continued learning and connection with school. So again, really would encourage everybody to work through those things. As we think about some of those things, then we may try to accommodate the calendar a little bit. But again, no final exams as far as that goes. There have been some questions about assessment and what that looks like. And again, I'm telling you that that can be very different for each class and each teacher. It could be a pretty traditional sort of a paper or a project or something that you would turn in and you'd get comments back from a teacher. It could be, one-on-one quick video conference with a teacher to kind of assess that you're getting it, or it might be a small group. Teacher in a Zoom class might have you grouped in like smaller cooperative pairs, just like you would have your grouping of 3 or 4 students at a desk or at desks together. So I think our teachers will continue to do amazing work and be more and more creative about what we can do in this virtual environment to really create lessons that are continue to be engaging and challenging and valuable for students and learning. I want to remind you that even though Fridays are office hours, teachers have time throughout the week that you can email them, see when they're available, if you can get just a few minutes if you've got a question. So you don't have to wait until Friday. You can email or chat a teacher. Again, just be respectful and be mindful of the notion, just like all of you, all of us are trying to kind of manage life from home. So are our teachers, and everybody is working to kind of balance their lives. And a lot of our teachers have children who are doing schoolwork, so they're working with their own kids in addition to all of our Maine East kids as well. So again, I think people are asking, when are we kind of coming back to school? We know we're shelter in place through the end of April. I'll be very honest, I'm not optimistic that we're going to be back in May. However, things could change, and we'll see what we can do. There's a rumor that the year is going to have to be made up by extending it. No, that end of, I think it's the 24th of May, thereabouts, would be the latest we would go. And again, more information to come as events unfold. We get more information from the governor's office, from the Illinois State Board of Education, that sort of thing. There have been some questions about construction timeline right now because the building is empty. We've actually moved up the schedule for some abatement work, asbestos abatement, which is routine part of the work. So we're getting ahead in that way. And really, it's not even getting ahead. It's just trying to stay on schedule. Because our construction crews are considered to be essential services. They're not 207 employees, but they're the people that are coming in to do this very specific construction work. And they've had to manage their crews in terms of shifts and the number of people working. So it's taking them a little bit longer. That's the reason we've started to abate other areas of the building while nobody is in the building. But we will be ready to go if we're actually able to come back in May. The building will be perfectly safe and ready to go. But as far as construction goes, we're doing everything we can to stay on time. And if there's any way when we're not able to be in the building to take advantage of that, to maybe move ahead, we will. But there are a lot of factors involved in that. The good news is that construction continues, and our buildings are going to be just amazing and fantastic when we finally get to be back in them. Just a reminder, our College and Career Resource Center, the CCRC, still open virtually. So any students, but especially seniors and juniors, this is a great time to get in and schedule a virtual appointment with Ms. Mousset or Mr. Weber. Would really encourage you to get in touch there. I think, again, the thing that I want all of you to remember is, just like we don't know what the end of the school year looks like right now, that's the same situation for absolutely every school in the state of Illinois and many other states. and colleges are in very much the same boat right now. So, they need you. They need you as students, and we don't want people to get too stressed about grades and GPAs and things like that right now for this current semester. Just keep doing good work, keep being engaged with your teachers, with your coaches, with your activity sponsors, clubs, every way that we can possibly continue to be a community and be connected and be with each other is a really beneficial thing right now. I also would just give a quick shout out. I know that we're getting some college acceptances back. Make sure you're communicating that information with your teachers, but especially with your counselors, with Mr. Weber. I think we're going to put together some sort of a virtual announcement board so that we can celebrate those admissions and acceptances to the best of our ability. And for all of you who have gotten those letters back, congratulations. Certainly well deserved, and we're very, very proud of all of you. Want to keep track of that as well. SAT. So the statewide SAT for juniors is canceled for the spring. Federal government granted a waiver for that state mandated, the ESSA, which took the place of No Child Left Behind, sorry. But we're required in order to receive federal funds to do that state testing. We've gotten a waiver. There will be no SAT test this spring. We're getting more information from the College Board, which is the corporation that manages both SAT and AP exams. And as soon as we know more information, we will. We all are anticipating that there will be a fall testing at some point that will be free to all students. We know many of our students and families depend on that. So we will keep you posted as we know anything. But right now, that testing that would have taken place next week is canceled. AP. So a little bit of update on advanced placement. It is important that all AP parents and students, many of you here, check out the College Board website. So if you go on and do a Google search for College Board, you're going to come up with information more than you probably ever imagined if you've never been on that site for advanced placement and for SAT. There's tons of detailed information that's going to be offered about each exam. There are some ways, some online supports for you to be able to work and study. You should be getting an email from District 207 sometime in the near future outlining the payment process. If you haven't paid, don't worry. There's plenty of time. You're going to be able to do that. We have plenty of tests ordered, so no need to worry, and we will be in touch with you. We're still working out some details about what payment looks like as we're trying to do all of our business online and virtually. If a student is approved for testing accommodation via an IEP or 504, is our understanding that they're going to receive those accommodations. An example would be time and a half on a test, something like that. From everything we've seen, tests are going to be about 45 minutes long. They're going to be conducted completely online. So again, really important for us to know if you do not have reliable Wi-Fi and the ability to be connected online. It is possible if you want to cancel an AP exam and receive a refund if you don't want to take the new version of the AP test. However, I wouldn't encourage anybody to do that. I think stick with it and continue to work with your teachers in terms of preparing. So again, the tests are going to be based on information that you would have covered by about the 1st of March. In other words, through the first 3 quarters of the year. Some other things, if your Chromebook breaks, you can go to the school website. There's a Chrome Depot link for Maine East. Let us know that you need to get a loaner, and we'll make arrangements, be back in touch. We're trying to make those available on Tuesdays and Thursdays when we do our meal pickups so that people can stop by and, again, be practicing our social distancing to the best of our abilities. Spring sports still up in the air based on school closures and CDC guidelines. The IHSA is exploring a league that would begin in May and maybe go into June with or without a state series. But everything there is still based on school closures and what the spring looks like. So as soon as we know anything, we'll let you know. In the meantime, I think our coaches are trying to reach out to you and stay involved and do some things that are going to help you hit the ground running if we do actually get to have a little bit of a season. So please stay in touch with all of our coaches as well. They're doing a great job, in addition to our teachers, in trying to make sure that you're all staying engaged and connected and pretty good shape. We're still distributing food twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at Maine East between 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock a.m. As I said, we also try to coordinate our Chrome Depot pickups as well. And also we've got the food pickups over at Gemini on Mondays and Wednesdays. So you can visit their website and get a little more information there. And I think their pickup is from 9 to noon, but please check the website and see. Again, I think you have to remember we're all in this together, and we all have a part to play in terms of making sure that everybody remains healthy. So while we would love to get out and, play a pickup game at the park or someplace with our friends, please don't. Please stay 6 or more feet away. Make sure if you have to make something up at home, go ahead and make a face mask so that you're able to, keep others safe and yourself to some extent, but still continue to practice that social distancing. We know that as the weather gets nicer, people are coming out, and it seems to be, we all want to think, hey, we're okay. It's not going to happen. Just please continue to practice the social distancing so that we flatten the curve, so that we stay healthy to get on the other side of this thing. Some of you asked about balances in your My School Bucks accounts. Those are fully refundable. We're trying to develop a streamlined process for you to request those funds back from Quest if you have that there, and we'll let you know as soon as we've got it. But you're not using it, and you are entitled to a refund. As I've said, we're still talking about end of the year festivities, and everything is on hold right now based on CDC guidelines for social gatherings, social distancing. Summer school is still happening for now. We're not sure what that looks like. If we're able to be back in the buildings, then it'll be fairly traditional in terms of the way it looks. And if we're still practicing social distancing, then we'll develop some plans and get that information to you as well. Again, there's so many changes that come to us based on the state and federal guidelines, things like that. So please, check your email multiple times a day. I know kids don't live on email, but at least twice a day and more often is good. If you're not connected on Instagram, please go ahead and start to follow us at Maine East High School, MEHS 207. We try to get on almost every day just to say a quick hello, share some information, do some Instagram live sessions, start to involve more of our faculty and staff, coaches, our sponsors, kind of do some fun things to lighten the mood there as well. Again, I just really want to emphasize, for our remote learning when we're online, those sort of appropriate behaviors, being respectful, responsible, ready for those opportunities when they arise. Remember, we've still got anonymous alerts up. So if you're going to be an upstander, if something is happening that ought not happen, if you see something, say something, please feel free to utilize that. I talked a little bit about grading. We talked about no state testing. Just looking down a second list I've got here. We sent out some information last week for students, but actually for all families. We've got a lot of local companies that are hiring right now, essential services. We know a lot of our family members may be out of work right now because so many businesses have had to shut their doors. So please feel free to utilize that. And if you need more information, you can reach out to our CCRC with any questions. But take a look on social media, take a look on our websites about local companies that are currently hiring. There's a district-wide fundraiser that has been established to help students and families that are in need. It's not a lot, but every little bit helps in terms of getting some gift cards for local grocery stores. You can go online to any of the school websites to see the site for that. You can send a check into the district, or you can go online. There's a nominal 3% fee, but it's quick. The money is there immediately. I'm also telling you, I am so incredibly proud of our students at Maine East High School. Maine East Cares, which is our school-wide philanthropic fundraiser, had a number of activities throughout the year. And I'm very, very proud to inform you that Maine East Cares has contributed $10,000 to that district fundraiser. My understanding that there's also going to be a significant donation gift from our Maine East athletic boosters, and I think there'll be more to come. So to the extent that any of you can donate to help our community, I really encourage you to do that. It's a great cause, and we're in the process of distributing first $5,000 of gift cards. I think donations right now have totaled over $28,000. And again, with some others to come, I know that number is going to keep on. So if you haven't and you can afford it, please go in and give a donation. There's no amount too small, certainly no amount too large, but feel free to give early and give often. Again, it's great to see many of you here. I see there are 35 people in the room. If you haven't said good morning, please feel free to log in on the chat side here so that we know who's here. If you have any questions, trying to keep an eye there as well. I think just a couple of things here in my notes. The librarians, I was talking with Ms. Ossie and Ms. Cochran. I was in communication last week, and we've got over 500 ebook titles. So there's just some pleasure reading there, a lot of different genres. Going to work to push information out this week. You can check those out remotely. So, you've got them for a few days. So if you want a little break from some of the work in the classes, you're looking for something else to do that's not video games and not Netflix, I encourage you to make really good use of those ebooks. If we find that we're using them up, we'll buy more. So take advantage of that great resource. And again, you should be getting a little more information pushed out to you in the next few days. I've got another live stream scheduled for 3:30 on Thursday afternoon. So it's Thursday the 9th, I believe, 3:30. I'll get information out and we'll send a live link here in another couple of days. But I really appreciate everybody spending some time with me this morning. I hope this is helpful. And again, if you have any questions, anybody who's here, please feel free to type in the chat. This is the point where I'm going to be silent for a moment and see if anybody has anything. Again, I know it's redundant, but please, students, parents, help students check those emails. I think one of the things that's come across is I think this experience can be really kind of a good rehearsal for students that are maybe going away to college next year or even in the next couple of years. In terms of time management, we know from our teachers that have that first class or two of the day on the block days. So that starts at 10 o'clock would be like today, first period, and then third period is at 11. And I'm hearing a lot of reports from teachers that students are not awake yet. So, just like in college, you might have that morning class and you might sleep through it. There's also a good chance you might not do so well in that class if you're not sort of checking in. So, you've still got the ability to stay up pretty late, later than we might recommend, and set your alarm. You've still got the ability to get up with 6 or 7 hours of sleep, check in with your teachers, your classmates, do the work, take a nap, kind of start to modify your day. Hopefully, you're building a schedule of what your day looks like that has you engaged from 10 to 2, Monday through Thursday. Even if the teacher isn't saying they need to meet with you, use that time to work on the material for that particular class. So you manage your time, and when 2 o'clock comes, hopefully you're done with that. And whether it's managing a work schedule, helping little brothers or sisters with their work, chatting with your friends, gaming, whatever that may be, take advantage of the schedule that's there and the supports that exist. Okay. So I'm not seeing any questions right now. I really want to thank everybody for joining me this morning. And again, I can't tell you how much all of us really miss seeing our students. We miss seeing our colleagues working with each other. And we will be so very, very happy when we get to the other side of this and we can gather safely to celebrate seeing each other and being with each other. Good question. So I just saw somebody asked if there's going to be an opportunity at some point to get items from school that might have been left there. Yes, it's been another point of conversation. So this is interesting. If you weren't aware, we have in the last week and a half really tightened up significantly the process to get admittance to the building. So of the small handful of us who actually can get into the building, and for all of our construction workers that are doing abatement work, every day we have one entrance only that construction workers come into and leave the building through. We have another entrance being used by all of our staff members. We have to take a temperature before we leave home. When we get to the building, we take our temperature again. And if it's 100 degrees or higher, turn right back around and go home. Not able to come into the building. The purpose for any staff member to get in, and again, we're not encouraging anybody to come into the building right now for a couple of reasons. Well, we think the building is pretty safe because very few people are there. We want to make sure if somebody were to come in and then we find out that they have become ill or they have a family member who is, we need to know where that is. We need to make sure that we then go again and deep clean that area so that it's safe for anybody who may need to be in. Specific to items that have been left, if this is an emergency, like you really, you're, not having the bit of the material, whatever it is at home, is really impeding your ability to learn, you can reach out to me, to your counselor, and we're going to need to know like where it is, your locker number, probably your combination number, because students are not going to be able to come into the building at this time. We will absolutely do everything we can to try to get that for you and then make it available so that you could swing by on a Tuesday or Thursday, again, when we're doing those meal pickups, to pick that up. So again, if it's absolutely essential, we'll try to work with you to get that information or get that material, whatever it is, as quickly as possible. But we need some pretty detailed information about what it is, where it is, and we'll do our best to do that. As far as, if school would be called and we didn't come back, we're talking about what that looks like in terms of locker clean out, because obviously if it's not safe to be conducting classes, it's not safe to come back into the building with several hundred people. So we don't have a solid plan for that yet. We will. And if we need to kind of arrange shifts and make sure that people are far apart, we just haven't quite buttoned that one up yet. But it is on our radar, and we know that's going to be a need for all of our students and frankly for many of our staff members. But right now, if you can do okay without it, do. If there's a real emergency situation, then reach out to any of our administrative team or to your counselor, and we'll see what we can do to work with you on that. So again, miss you all. Can't tell you how much we miss you all. I really hope that everybody is staying healthy. And again, take care of your loved ones, family, check in with your friends remotely, keep that 6 to 10 foot distance, start wearing that cloth face mask anytime you go out. And I'll look forward to being with you again on a live stream on Thursday afternoon at about 3:30. In the meantime, please follow us on Instagram, MEHS207. You can follow us on Twitter as well. And students, please check into that email at least 2 times a day. So for right now, Maine East, stay healthy, stay strong, and we'll look forward to talking to you again. Let us know if there's anything we can possibly do to help you or your families. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.